这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
He stood there with a paper in his hand and a bad feeling in his chest, because he already knew what the answer would be. The building was old, made of stone that had seen too many winters. Inside, the air was thick and still. Shoes scraped the floor. Coughs echoed down the hall. Men and women waited in lines that barely moved. Some held folders. Some held letters. Some held nothing but hope. This was London, more than 300 years ago, when the city ruled trade and ships crossed the world. Gold flowed in. Goods flowed in. But help did not flow out so easily. On the long tables inside government offices, papers were stacked high. Each stack was wrapped tight with red tape. Not string. Not rope. Red tape, smooth and strong, pressed flat against the paper. It marked the stack as important. It marked it as untouchable. At first, people respected it. Red tape meant order. It meant safety. It meant no one could change a record in secret. When a paper wore red tape, it carried weight. It spoke with authority, even before anyone read it. Clerks worked from sunrise to dark. They dipped pens into ink, their fingers stained black. They copied names, dates, places. They did not decide much. Their job was to move paper from one pile to another, to wrap it, unwrap it, then wrap it again. One clerk, a young man named Edward, once asked his supervisor why so many forms were needed for a single request. The older man did not look up. "That is how it is done," he said. "If the tape is right, the work is right." Edward nodded, though he did not understand. Outside, life did not wait. A carpenter named John lost his workshop to a fire. He applied for a permit to rebuild. The city promised support. His form was accepted, stamped, and tied with red tape. Weeks passed. Then months. Each visit ended the same way. "It is being processed." John sold his tools to buy food. By the time approval came, he no longer had a trade to return to. Stories like his were common, whispered in taverns and markets. People laughed about it at first. They said the red tape must be alive, growing tighter each day. Then the laughter turned sharp. During a hard winter, food prices rose fast. Merchants asked for permission to bring in grain from nearby towns. The request made sense. The need was clear. The papers moved anyway, slow and careful, wrapped and rewrapped in red tape. By the time the grain arrived, people had already gone hungry. The phrase began to change shape in people's mouths. Red tape no longer meant trust. It meant delay. It meant waiting for someone who would never come. Inside the offices, the rules kept growing. Every mistake from the past became a new rule. Every fear became a new step. No one removed rules. They only added them. A file could not move without 3 signatures. A signature could not be given without a review. A review could not happen until the file was complete. And a file was never complete. One afternoon, a message arrived marked urgent. It was tied, of course, with red tape. A clerk placed it on the correct pile. He did not open it. That was not his job. The message sat there for 2 days. When it was finally read, it was too late. Slowly, even the clerks felt trapped. Edward, now older, watched years pass as he tied and untied the same bundles. He saw how rules meant to protect people had begun to protect themselves instead. If a decision went wrong, the red tape took the blame. No one was responsible. The process had been followed. That was its real power. By the time the phrase crossed the ocean and entered common English, everyone knew what it meant. To face red tape was to face a wall made of paper. Soft to the touch, impossible to push through. Centuries later, the ribbon is gone, but the feeling remains. You fill out a form. It asks for proof you already gave. You click next. You wait. You call. A calm voice tells you to be patient. The system is working. You know it is not. Red tape was born from a need for order in a growing world. It carried good intent. But intent is not enough. When care turns into habit, and habit turns into rule, people disappear behind the paper. That is why the phrase still lives. Because somewhere, right now, someone is standing with a paper in their hand, feeling that same weight in their chest, knowing the answer will not come today, not because it cannot, but because the tape says no.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。